I am Feel It.
And I am Fix It. And we talk about life.
And stuff and things.
With the occasional rant.
Which you will have no problem doing.
Hello. Hi there. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Wherever it is, wherever you are. Hope you're having a good one.
Absolutely.
This is kind of a weird one. We're prepping to go out of town, so everything's kind of condensed and trying to fit everything in. And we're like, okay, we need to say hi to our listeners. So here we are. Mm-hmm. And yeah, we're. It's one of those when you try to be everything for everybody when they need you, you run out of time, and
something like that. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you try and fit in your life and the things you got going on, and support your friends and family and work and that.
Well, there was a lot of discussion about doing this the other day. It just didn't happen.
It did not. But, here we are.
I don't remember what it was that you just started binge watching. Something you've seen like 100 times. Oh, Sherlock!
I turned it on for noise. And
Sherlock.
Then, yeah. But, yeah, it was a day. And then, yeah. Then time just kind of got away from me. Anyway, here we are. Yeah.
Here we are.
Saying hi. And happy 4th of July weekend. By the time this goes online, it will be past. But, hope everybody had a good one and ended the weekend with the same number of digits that they had when they started. Maybe a little bit more sunlight, a little more sunburned, maybe a little more tanned.
And for those listeners out of the United States, you just look that up if you're not familiar with what the 4th of July is.
Yes.
Our Independence Day.
Yes. Typically celebrated by people by barbecuing, drinking, and blowing stuff up in a pretty
Oddly,
fashion.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Like one of the highest explosions. Emergency department visits.
People get silly. People get
every
absolutely year. Freaking silly. But, didn't really have, been looking at stuff and trying, it's like, what topic? What topic to talk about? And, sometimes nothing, I usually, what I do is what catches my attention, what grabs a hold of me and gets me thinking, or what resonates emotionally or intellectually, and haven't had anything really jump out at me. And then, what the heck, was it only just yesterday? Yeah, it was just yesterday. A friend that I hadn't talked to in a while sent me a message, which was unexpected, and I was surprised and glad to hear from him. But the message he sent was a response to a message I sent a year and a half ago.
Which is also telling for why I thought he was sending what he was sending.
True. And which, like, okay. And then it's like, I haven't been on Facebook in quite a while. Not a sponsor. But that's the app that the Messenger app that's attached to that. That's how we were communicating a while back. And that's where I sent the message. And he saw the message and he responded. And started catching up a little bit. And he mentioned that in November he had a stroke and he still can't really use his left hand. And that kind of hit me because he's a year younger than me.
Let's be clear. He has not led the same lifestyle as you.
No. And he has very different genetics, very different life. He's lived a very
Party life.
Yeah, he had yeah.
His whole life.
Yeah.
He's never really stopped.
In a lot of respects, yes. To the point, working in restaurants and bars most of his life.
Yep.
And dogs being weird. Sorry, it's like she's
being Dory.
She is very much. And him telling me, I mean, just snippet conversation. It wasn't like massively in depth. As you're talking via messenger, he was at a concert, so it's not like
he said he was at a concert.
Yep. He won some tickets a while ago, and he's at the show, which awesome.
Wherever it was. Oh, well, that was fireworks.
Yep, hope so. Because that was a big one. It's either fireworks or artillery. Either way, big boom. And that got me really. And we were talking about stuff we used to do, and where we're at, and he got very
nostalgic, sentimental,
very sentimental, and which I can relate. I mean, it's been a long time. Last time I really talked to him was we were in the process of moving down here.
Yeah, it's been a while.
And it was, he just moved back and I was moving away, which was just strange because for the first time I was the one that was leaving. Which is weird. But, yeah. I think I told the story.
He was your partner in crime
in many ways.
Age.
He was, yes. Partner in crime in many, many respects. Like I said, you're younger than me. And I said, it's like, we were friends. Like, we'd hang out and play every freaking day at school, and then his dad bought the property next to my parents' place and put in a store, and just we hung out all the time, and it was like 3 or 4 years of every day, almost every day, hanging out, playing, just being kids. And I realized I don't know his name. I did not remember his name. He was, as far as anything goes, my best friend, and I didn't remember his name. Because when you're hanging out with somebody and you're talking to them and you're doing stuff with them, how often do you use their name?
It's true.
Really? You just don't. You're talking to them. You don't.
It's true.
Which I had to correct that. And I did. And like we did all kinds of stupid crap for freaking years. But we were very different people, and it didn't make sense to people how we were as close as we were and got along the way that we did. And because again, like he was kind of the party guy. He was the well, to be blunt,
he was your lookout.
He was a man whore.
That was as he aged. Sure. Teenage years.
That was it started early.
As a child.
Yeah. Okay. It started with he was my lookout on the playground.
Mm-hmm. That's what was he a lookout for?
I had kind of a girlfriend in grade school.
And kissing the little girl.
Kissing the little girl.
In the stack of tires.
Yeah, we made the tire pyramid
on
the playground, and he was the lookout. Yes. Yeah, that was a long time ago. It's a very long time ago.
You were a child.
This is true. And then, over time, that changed quite a bit. But I still don't. I'm not a party guy. Not my thing. I mean, I like hanging out with people and music and being silly and having a good time. But when it comes to it's like I don't smoke. I don't drink. I don't do controlled substances or semi-legal substances at all. I have a drink occasionally, but I go out of my way to make sure that I'm not impaired in any way.
Typically.
And that was, I, especially younger years, went to church 3 days a week, was involved in all of that kind of stuff. He was most definitely not. Very different life. People didn't understand how we were friends. But we were. There was some weird overlap. Just the kind of the goofy interests and fascination with certain things. They overlapped, and we synced well in that regard. And he even commented on that. It's like it just didn't make sense that we were friends, but we were. And his messages were coming across as very introspective. Which, I don't know what other people have been into. What their life experiences are. Have you ever been around somebody that had a stroke that was... there's no such thing as a truly not harmful stroke. They had a mild stroke. Well, even
there's
a mild...
damage. Brain damage.
There's damage
brain
done.
Damage.
Yeah, there's damage done. And when you have a stroke that's severe enough to cause paralysis, it's also severe enough to kill you. It's all a matter of timing. How soon do you get help? So the fact that he's got a hand he can barely use. I think he said he can't lift it above his belly button. That'll scare the crap out of you and make you very introspective. And it kind of sounds like he's been doing a lot of that.
What was suspect about that was being at a concert. There's just a certain connotation to activities that happen at concerts. And then when you said he was repeating himself, I thought, okay, he's at a concert.
This is true.
He's incredibly well known for his substance and alcohol use.
He was, yes.
And I'm not saying people that have strokes still do things.
Oh, yeah. And I hope he's got that.
It's a toss-up.
Yeah, I don't know. And it's
a toss-up.
It is.
Sadly.
But it got me...
You were kind of a mess when you left for work.
I was.
Like, dude,
took a little
what's
while.
Wrong with you?
So I was processing. I was processing a bunch, thinking through a bunch of things.
I'm sorry that I, help keep you healthy and stuff.
Well, there's some of that. I've got some pretty tough genes on my side too, thankfully. I don't really know about paternal side, but the maternal side, there's some pretty tough SOBs in that history. But it was, I even I mentioned it to you. I was like thinking about it, like, okay, that's our wedding party, the groomsmen, the jolly effing groomsmen, as you refer to them. And that's a story in and of itself.
Yeah. I don't know if we told it on our anniversary.
I don't think so.
No, let's go ahead and tell that. If we're let's back up. So, just days before our wedding, my grandfather died.
Mm-hmm. We did
my
talk
father
about that.
had left. Yep, we're recapping. My father had left, my aunt had left, and a cousin to go down just days before he passed away to go be with him, and then bring my grandmother back because he died, in Arkansas on his way back to Michigan from Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So, I was a mess.
Yes.
It's already hard and stressful. Weddings just can be.
Yeah.
Lots of opinions and people coming at me.
There's a lot of drama.
I'm just so young. I don't, know what I want kind of attitudes. So lots of stress.
Mm-hmm.
My father got back literally hours before the rehearsal dinner, the night before.
Mm-hmm. And I have no conscious memory of the rehearsal dinner at all.
Just one.
I
got one. I got one very vivid memory.
I think about it and nothing comes to mind.
I remember seeing something about your mother. And some of the odd decisions that she had been making that were not what we would have wanted. And I remember talking to somebody, but I couldn't tell you who, about it. I turned around to a tap on my shoulder with this giant Cheshire Cat smile from your aunt.
Mm-hmm.
And then I looked over and there was the other aunt with the Cheshire Cat smile. They heard me.
Mm-hmm.
They heard me.
Sure.
I remember that. And that night, I remember you coming back, and I do have a visual of you like on your knee next to the pull-out bed, because I was in the living room laying on the couch, just bawling my eyes out. I've got that in my mind.
Yeah. That I remember. I was, getting all the guys situated at our place, the trailer we were buying, and getting the guys that were staying there situated and making sure things were cool. And then you called, and I'm like, okay, I'm on my way. It's like, guys, you're fending for yourself. There's milk and cereal. Have at it. I'll see you later. And he's like, what's going on? It's like, she needs me. I'm gone.
So I can't believe it. We didn't talk about it on our anniversary episode. But go ahead. Why don't you discuss? I don't think it was his idea. I don't think it was your best man's idea.
No.
But he was the first one.
He was.
And nobody stopped the guy that did have this brilliant idea. So why don't you go ahead and talk about why I had that cute nickname for them?
Yeah. Well, okay. Yeah. Okay, so, anyway.
Total mess.
Yeah.
Getting married.
Yep.
Trying to see all the good and the positive and the things.
Yep. Okay. All right. We'll set the stage a little bit.
Standing in the middle of our ceremony.
Yeah, we're in this beautiful log cabin church. It's beautiful. We got a number of friends and family there. And we both kind of have a big family, but we didn't have huge numbers of people there. So it's a good, decent amount of people there. Probably too many in the bridal party, in the wedding party, however you want to put it.
Yeah.
Because there was us, and then there was five on each side.
Yeah, we kept it even.
We kept it even.
We had important people in our lives.
We did. We had some. They were very close at that point in their lives. Anyway, so it's time for the rings, and I turn to my buddy, this personal friend, the guy that started this conversation, and he reaches in his pocket, and he looks like, he's patting, and he turns to the guy behind him, and he checks his, and I'm like, guys.
It was convincing.
And he goes, and yeah. Well,
I mean, there were people making all kinds of noises watching us.
And went all the way to number 5.
Well, okay, but when it got to number 3, it was suspect.
It was oh.
It was suspect.
Fellas, really. And I'm just thinking here.
But it was convincing.
It was. Once it hit.
It didn't get past 3 without it being not convincing.
Yeah, we were no longer convinced. And I got all the way. I originally wanted my cousin, who I was very close with, to be my 5th. And he was in the army, and he was still overseas.
And he didn't make it back.
And he didn't make it back. So I asked my uncle, his father, and he agreed, and he was very happy to do it. I was very thankful that he agreed. And he's the guy that had the ring all the way at number 5. And they passed the ring up. And I'm sitting there, and I'm looking at him. I look at the ring, and I look at you. And then I look back at them, and I'm like, I can't believe you guys. And I'm just thinking, you can't believe you guys did this. And I turn around, and I look at him again, like, you guys really. Just thinking.
Not funny.
And I understand they wanted some levity. They wanted to try and make you laugh.
Fumbled up the pastor to the point where he completely screwed up our vows.
Yeah, because he didn't know it was coming. And note to people out there, if you're going to pull something like that,
talk to the pastor.
Make sure the officiant knows what's going on.
Yeah, that would be good. Yeah.
So that they're not completely thrown.
Mm-hmm. That happened.
And so I don't blame him. I don't blame him. It was just like derailed stuff. But and then just to make it more annoying, they got the rings messed up. So I had my ring, and the bridesmaids had your ring.
Yep.
So I tried to fit my ring on your finger, and it didn't fit.
Yeah.
So, after the rest of the ceremony, we walk out and then we swap rings, and it's just and after that, they were the jolly effing groomsmen.
For a while. But
Yeah.
before you left last night, before you left our home to go to work, there's more fireworks.
Mm-hmm.
You did start going off about basically the fact that everybody in our wedding party, the men, are either dead or out of their mind.
Well, yeah, it was all right.
Dead, dying, or lost their mind.
The guy who was number 4, he was. It's like I knew him since like the first grade. I had one of my friends in the first grade that I was friendly with all the way through high school. He was the older brother, and he also taught archery. And then I ended up working with him.
We've talked about him.
And yeah, and he did not deal with his demons, and he basically drank until they were silent.
Yes. He passed away almost 2 years ago.
Yep. Which still, it's one of those. On the way to work last night, my daughter. I'm currently working with my daughter. She works where I work. Let's be more accurate. And like the hard part is when you're not with your friends anymore, and then they end up in a bad place. And there's a part of you that you cognitively know that the chance of you being able to be, being there and having a positive effect on that situation is almost zero. But the rest of you know but the emotional side of you know it's there's like, yes, it's almost zero, but it wasn't zero. So if you were there, maybe you could have been the person that put them over the edge to actually get the help they needed. So there's that. It's like, it's not rational, it's emotional.
It's not rational.
But it's there. So there's that part that just kind of digs a little. And then, it's like, the legal drama completely destroyed his life. And he kind of off the deep end. And then there's other things that went along with that. So he's out of our life. And then our other friend, he was trying to create a life for himself, and he moved out to Montana, and his life fell apart, and then we were no longer part of it. Kind of lost his way, and we weren't part of where he ended up. It's like, okay, so he's gone. And my uncle had a massive stroke some years back. And then we move, which that doesn't help. And then he ends up going into a home. And then the whole COVID thing happens, and nobody knows where. A good chunk of the family had no idea where he was at. And I haven't seen him in years, and I feel horrible about that. It's just never been able to put all that,
You don't exactly have a family that talks.
There's that, and we're down here and they're up there, and it's like we don't.
2.5 hours makes a difference.
It can make a huge. I mean, in all honesty, it's not that long of a drive. Most of the time, but you have to take it's like, okay, we're doing this, and you hop in the car and do it. It's not that big of a drive. It's just getting to a point where you can just say, okay, we're doing this. And then to hear that the guy that was effectively my best friend my entire life, who's younger than me, had a stroke and is in many ways still doing pretty poorly. Put all that together, it's kind of rough. It's like, man, what's left? Because if we look at the bridesmaids, it's a very similar. It's like they're not. I haven't heard of any deaths. But
losing their minds, yeah.
Yeah, their whole lives fell apart, and they fell apart with him.
Well, one of them, I mean, it was the wife of the guy you just mentioned that moved to Montana.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they got divorced a long time ago.
Yep.
They fell apart a long time ago.
Mm-hmm. Yes. In part because, as he put it, she went nuts. Like, okay, well,
Subjective.
So that's subjective. But sure.
Considering what we knew of him.
Yes.
Before he got worse. So, yeah. Whole lot to that.
Yeah, so there's been I spent way too much time kind of wallowing through that thought process, kind of parsing that out. Like, there's not a whole lot left of my old life.
It's not a bad thing.
No, I mean, in and of itself, growth is a thing.
I don't think we made poor decisions.
No, we made, there were times there were decisions that we had to make.
Continuing to follow the Lord, putting our children first, putting our values and our morals first.
Well, there was
I'm not going to apologize for that.
I'm not saying that. But to be honest, the big choice was survival. There's no way we were not going to survive where we were. And there was the opportunity of surviving by coming down here. But by coming down here, we had to turn our back on everything.
I wouldn't say turn our back. I would say...
Okay, I had to turn my back on everything that I cared about.
That's not it. The street goes both ways, and it's not as if the connections were really all that great when we were up there. It's just something about being up there that the paths might have crossed more often. Mm-hmm. But we didn't live the same lifestyle. It had gotten to the point where it wasn't happening. There wasn't connection. It wasn't turning our back. It was creating distance. Mm-hmm. But again, phone goes both ways. Street goes both ways. Do you know how many times I've seen posts from people that come down here for special events and never once did they say, hey, I'm going to be like a half an hour from you, like when we lived in Portland and they were coming to Grand Rapids or Lansing. That never happened. Nope. It didn't happen because we had dropped the bar scene. We had dropped the going out whenever scene. Before we left, it kind of filtered out the people that really cared.
Well, I mean,
in fact, the one friend,
the going out part was, it's like, I'm not employed. It's like, I'm on unemployment, and I'm on unemployment because I can't work 3 jobs that are available and make as much as I'm making on unemployment. So it's
at the time.
Now, maybe.
We did have a friend that ended up following us down here. A very close friend at the time. Not a friend of what you've just described of any of those people. But we did have somebody that ended up moving his family down here. And what happened to him?
Yep.
He chased money. He chased success and keeping up with the Joneses and image and all the things that he thought he could get down here. And he did. He imploded.
To be fair, he did. He all of that. The problem was
he's got his money. He doesn't have a marriage and a whole family.
Or a relationship
but he has
with
his
kids.
money.
Yeah, and which it's like you got what you strove for. The problem was you set the wrong goals. So nothing like admittedly, for me coming down here, part of it was we're gonna make some more money, but it was always with the idea it's like we're gonna make some more money so I can take care of my family. There's a family. It's about taking care of the family.
We had no idea the way things were going to blow up. We did. I never saw that coming. Let's just put it that way. Never would have seen that coming. But
well, to be fair, the amount of drama between those two before the wedding. All of that is like, I can
years of drama,
years of that back and forth baloney, and it's like, it's like, I hear the stories like she wants to put it all on him. It's like, no, you were just as much a putz as he was.
Oh yeah, no, they both had the things.
They both have their things. That is definitely not one sided.
They both had the things
in any way, shape, or form.
However, the point is, it wasn't about turning a back. I've never turned my back. Very few people.
There were a lot of doors that had to close.
Very few people, and when I'm talking about relationships, very few people even remotely attempted to stay in contact. And because we did go back up there so often to visit my family, we were still going into town. We were still seeing people. The paths were still crossing.
On occasion, yeah.
On occasion. Now, when that ended, which it became incredibly painful for me after my mother had passed, I did avoid certain places and all that. I felt different. I felt completely different. But what was the first thing I said to you last night when you told me that he's not doing well and his mother's not doing well? What was the first thing I said to you? When do you want to go? Because if it's important to you, we can make it a priority. We don't know where he lives.
Nope.
We don't know what he's up to.
Jeez, dog.
Dog. We don't know. Sorry about that. That was abrupt.
Okay, I might edit that out because that was massive.
But no,
clipping.
you should leave it so that they can hear the chihuahua. But we're going to apologize
I'm
right now.
That door. Holy crap.
We're going to apologize right now for our dog.
God forbid somebody deliver something. Oh my goodness.
No, I'm pretty sure somebody just opened the garage door and it startled her. Probably our youngest looking for food. Anyway, we don't know where he's living.
No.
We don't know what he's doing. So there's that.
I'm
just
not positive
assuming
I know where his mom is at, and he said she's really not doing well. And I mean, she was older in life when he was born. I mean, not like old, but not young. And she had some pretty gnarly health issues some years back, shortly after we moved. So better than a decade ago. And yeah, she was fun. She was awesome. She was a tough little lady. But no, I yeah, I would very...
We can go find him if that's what you'd like to do.
Yeah, I do very much so.
Okay. We can do that.
Very, very much so. I just realized I can hear my daughter talk from the other room through the vent. It's like I keep catching hints.
Sure. But we should probably...
Sorry, yeah.
We should probably find a place to end because, you do have to go to work. It's very late.
I do.
We will be leaving for a long weekend to Sault Ste. Marie because that's where my aunt is.
Yes. We're getting ready to... She's finally decided, it looks like, that...
she's over the winter.
She's over all of that. Because, I mean, you're talking the Sioux. And we're not talking like a little bit in the Sioux. We're talking almost Canada Sioux.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, she's as the crow flies, like a mile from... maybe a mile and a half.
Yeah, I mean, not...
From the locks. I mean, it's really not that far.
No, she's on the east side of town. I mean, but in the city limits.
Yep.
Like, you can hear the boats.
Oh, yeah, you hear the boats.
You can hear everything coming across the channel there. So,
oh, yeah. And don't get me wrong, it's absolutely beautiful up there, and I've enjoyed... I think we've all enjoyed just going up there, and the snow is gorgeous. And
it is. I can't get any further away without leaving the country.
Pretty much. Or heading way west, which we've done. But, so...
I would not have a reason to go back. We would not have a reason to go back when she leaves. I'm not close with my cousin that's up there.
No.
And it's bittersweet. But we're going to go help take care of some things so that she can start getting ready.
Yep, we're going to help her do what needs to happen to give her the best shot at selling the place for top dollar. And just spend time with her because it's kind of nice just hanging out with her. It's just kind of, one of those things. And then helping her out. Like I don't know how many more times I'll make it up. Probably at least one more. I'd like to try before she actually leaves. Sure. At least one more. And then before my surgery, which has been scheduled. So. Yep. Well, and part of that is going to come down to her timeline as much as anything. Well, apparently she has a filing cabinet for me. A really nice one. It's the one that's in the room where we stay. Okay. That's a filing cabinet. Okay. So we might have to actually rent something to get it home. It's a discussion we can have. Yeah. We'll have to figure that out. Or we go up without the kids. I don't know about that. We'll see. Maybe not this time, next time.
They say might have to. I don't know.
Yeah, might have to.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's a conversation for another time, I guess.
Another time.
But yeah, no.
This was, I don't know. This was we're gonna touch base because we didn't have a topic and we're going away, but
yeah,
still wanted to.
And sometimes it's just, like we said, this channel is about us talking about stuff, even if it's just life.
Podcast?
Yeah.
Channel.
Yeah, it's our channel.
Okay.
Yeah, but however you want to
terms.
Yeah, however you want to call it. This is us, and the idea was always it was us, and our opinions, our thoughts, our conversations, what we're dealing with, and how we're dealing with it, and just touching base with people and sharing, and hoping that somebody out there either hears something that helps them out, or if nothing else, they can at least go, at least my life isn't that screwed up, and feel better about themselves. Either way, we're good. It's all fine. It's cool. And right now, this is our life, and this time it's me. Well, part of it is me coming to grips with some stuff. It's like part of me, and I think this is true of most guys. There's a part of us that's always 12.
Sure.
There's that. There's a part of you that's always 12, and that silly childishness stuff that you did back in the day. And then there's a part of you that's always like 17, because you've got that spirit of craziness without responsibility that you still kind of have at 17. And this definitely, talking to him and hearing what he's going through, it's like there's that dissonance between that 12-year-old me that remembers the camping in his front yard and staying up till 4 a.m. playing Nintendo, and the fact that I know that I'm 51 and he's 50, and it's like we're not kids anymore, and this is life.
Yeah.
And then another part that just kind of feels bad for not seeing him. I mean, we did see him after that. We bumped into him. We went to his place. Didn't go inside. We were like outside his house because we were just on our way through.
Something like that.
I don't remember what it was for, but inconsequential. That part doesn't matter. But yeah. So that's where I'm at. That's what this one is.
I appreciate you sharing.
That, and we wanted to make sure we didn't. We don't have a huge base of listeners, but the ones that are out there are the people that hopefully are enjoying what we're doing and what we got to say.
We care.
We want to make sure that we don't leave you hanging. We don't know you, but we do care. We, like there's we want people to have the best life possible. And I don't know if we can be a part of that for, anybody, but, if it's at all in any way, shape, or form possible, that's why we're here. We want to help. We want to help. We want to entertain. We want to, guide where we can and give people, don't do this. This is what I did, and it didn't work, kind of deal.
Don't do it. Just say no.
How that goes. Sometimes the purpose of a person's life is to be as an example of what not to do for others.
There's something like that.
I think honestly the most efficient or the most advanced form of learning is learning from other people's mistakes. That way you don't have to make them for yourself. When we're little, we got to learn it for ourselves. As we get older, we can mature and learn from other people.
All you got to do is pay attention.
Yeah. Pay attention and go, yeah, that didn't work out for him. I don't think I'm going to do that.
And that's real.
It is very real. So. While I'm still chewing over aspects of this, because I think I will be for a little while, reality, it is what it is. You can't fight it. You do have to figure out a way to assimilating and moving on with life, because it doesn't stop just because you're in a weird place.
It's true. Unfortunately.
And unfortunately, you got to deal with me while I'm doing that, so I apologize now.
Not so bad.
I try. You can deal with stuff. People, just because you're going with something, going through something doesn't mean that you got to make everybody else's life tougher. Just saying.
Well said.
Strive. Strive to be better than you were. That's the ultimate goal. Anyway.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks for letting me vent.
You're welcome.
I needed to unload. It's all good.
You're welcome.
And for everybody out there that was along for the ride, apologize for it being short. Still a lot of things to do.
Hopefully you found our wedding story entertaining.
Sure.
Or you feel for me. Whatever.
A little bit of both. You can do both.
You can do both.
Yeah, it's funnier in retrospect.
Gay. I might have been laughing, really, but I had feelings about it.
There was a lot of things that day. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Deep breath.
Deep breath.
Cleansing breath.
Happy 4th of July, everybody. And if you're not in the United States, I hope you just had a good weekend.
No. Okay, well, for people in the U.S., happy Independence Day.
Yes.
And for everybody else, it's still the 4th of July.
So happy 4th of July.
It might not be a holiday, but, just click into U.S. news and chuckle at people who were stupid.
Did silly things
and
with fireworks.
Blew fingers off, just because there's always somebody. Just hope it's not you.
That's true.
Anyway, with all of that being said, I'm Fix It.
I'm Feel It.
We hope you join us in the future.
Until next week.
You all have a great one.